listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again. And man, today's topic on today's show is all about holistic health. We have our special, amazing guest, Dr. Lynn Anderson. And she has a cool website you can go visit, and that is drlynn.com, where she just shows you everything that she's a part of and what she's up to today. I don't want to give them a long resume because you're doing amazing things. You have some amazing books. I mean, a lot of books, not just one, but a series of books with wellness and all that great stuff. So first and foremost, thank you, Dr. Lynn, for taking time. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much for inviting me. But remember, I've been at this for over 30 years. So
well, that's why your resume is so long. So
that's right.
Kind of condense it a little bit, though, for the audience. Share with the audience a little bit of your background.
Well, I am a naturopathic doctor, which means that a naturopath focuses on holistic health, meaning body, mind, and soul. And that's what we believe, is that all three must be in balance. On top of that, I'm a certified yoga therapist, and I'm a karma master. I've produced a TV show, produced a series of DVDs with international distribution, and written a series of books. I've been busy.
Oh, yeah, you've definitely been busy. So when it comes to holistic health, that's today's topic. There's always opinionated sources out there, but you're a doctor, so we have a great source today. Kind of break that down for the audience. What is holistic health, and how can we be more aware of how that can be a benefit for our life?
All right. Well, holistic health, any kind of health program, really has three pillars. And the three pillars are diet, exercise, and sleep. And those things are essential to all human beings for us to, be healthy. We need to put the right fuel into our bodies in order for our bodies to operate. But we also need to move. We have to remember that the human body was designed to move. It wasn't designed to be stationary. But it also needs its rest and its sleep. We cannot live without sleep. So we focus on those as the primary three pillars of health. From a naturopathic standpoint, then we can go into herbal medicine, we can go into aromatherapy, color therapy. There are all kinds of modalities that branch off from that. But the basic is to pay attention to your diet, your exercise, and your sleep.
A lot of people have an idea of how they can start this process. But for those who are just trying to Google this and get tips, what is a best practice of someone who's new to this idea?
Well, I would always say that to seek out someone who is a qualified practitioner, someone who's qualified, because again, Dr. Google, as we like to call him or her, there's all kinds of misinformation out there. And it's really important to be able to work with someone who has a lot of integrity and who is, really knows what they're talking about and can take you as an individual, because we are all individuals, and work you through a program that works for you. To take a general program and put it out there really doesn't address where a person is at physically, mentally, and soulfully.
I want our audience to know that you have not just an amazing resume, but you have also been part of some major publications with, as far as Reader's Digest, Shape, Self, Spray, and the Chicago Times, Huffington Post, Thrive Global, and Redbook. I mean, you really want to get into this whole idea of holistic health, you really need to go check out Dr. Lynn Anderson's website, and that website again is drlynn.com. My next question is, when you look at some of the studies that you have put across in your career, throughout your career, what are some of the things that stick out as far as what you discover along the way with how people deal with this whole holistic approach?
Well, one of the things that I'm really, people ask me all the time, for example, about supplements. And I always caution people about that, because you'll find a lot of supplements, and a lot of times you'll find on the internet that someone's promoting a program, but behind it, they're selling a supplement. And, supplements are not regulated by the FDA, which means they don't have to prove efficacy. They don't have to prove they work. So you never know what you're getting. And with the research, they have found that the great percentage of supplements out there really don't contain what they say they contain. There's a lot of garbage in it. So it's really important to kind of pull back and look beneath what's really out there in, the public domain.
You also produce programs for, fitness. So you have a product that is all about anti-aging workouts. Share with the audience a little bit about that project and how successful has that been for your clients?
Well, my DVDs actually are Dr. Lynn's anti-aging workouts for everybody. And the idea behind that was to be able to take the body and work with it as it goes through each decade, because we do change every decade. And as we change, it's more important to focus on what we call functional movement as opposed to, high intensity aerobics that maybe we do when we're really young. But as we mature through life, people have things like osteoporosis, they have arthritis, they have, sometimes depression. There are lots of things, components that come in. And it's being able to take a program that addresses those things for the individual if I work one-on-one with a person, but also for a group at large. So for example, everybody kind of experiences some arthritic stuff as they get older. You could be an athlete and you've got arthritis at 40, so to kind of put a program and put exercises together that kind of work on that component is more of a general approach for people.
And when people look at the different ways of just expanding their knowledge with this holistic, different topics, because like I said, it can be different things for different needs. But when people approach these holistic topics, what should they do with their personal doctor, and also combine that with someone like yourself who can give them more information?
Well, I always feel that, and this is not to bash the medical world, because the medical world is necessary. And what's really important is that we work together, that, that holistic doctors work with medical doctors. And for me, the real thing is if you're, for example, let's say your doctor puts you on antibiotics. We all know that antibiotics ruins the microbiota in your gut. And when you start to destroy that, you start to weaken your immune system. So what's really important is if you need to take the antibiotics to kill the bacteria, which oftentimes we have to do, I think it's important that medical doctors then get their clients moved with working with someone like a nutritionist or, an alternative practitioner that can help a person rebuild the body back up. Because what we do know is that although drugs can be necessary for certain things, there's not one thing in a drug that is nutritional that supports the health of your body. All it does is it's a chemical that destroys. So it's important that if we destroy something, that then we come in and rebuild back up. So I think it's important for people to be able to have that conversation with their doctors.
And speaking of rebuilding, you are a doctor. Like I said, you are more than qualified to be talking about this topic. When you look at the fundamentals of a healthy lifestyle, based on your experience, someone listening right now, and they're like, okay, well, what's that one? What's the most basic thing I can do starting today if I want to start this whole process of living a better, healthy life?
Take it right back to the 3 pillars. And the very first thing is nutrition, because your body will not operate. There is not a thing in your body that's going to work unless you put the right fuel in there. And the right fuel is vitamins and minerals. Those have to come into the body. So, the body doesn't sit there and say, well, I'm going to choose what I'm going to eat. The body says, I need vitamins and minerals. I need the fuel that not only gives me energy, but rebuilds and keeps me healthy. So it's very important, first and foremost, to pay attention to your diet. And then the second thing is to understand, again, that the body is designed to move. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to go and do all kinds of exercises. You can get up and, every 30 minutes from your desk and walk around the office for 5 to 10 minutes. That's got the body moving. That improves circulation. And then the third pillar, of course, again, is sleep. And that is a major problem. I think studies show that about 70% of Americans at some point suffer from some kind of a sleep problem. And that's all the stress and the burnout and everything that happens. So the body also, it can't rebuild itself unless you give it a chance to slow down, and rebuild. So it's coming back and just really realizing that those are 3 simple things. They're not complicated. They're very simple to do.
I like how simple you put that, because I'm not trying to be funny, but it's a kind of funny metaphor. A car can never slow down if we don't start applying the brakes. It's going to be a certain time that threshold is past its max limit, and it could be a devastating situation. You, as a doctor and a person that creates individualized programs, you also work with people one-on-one to kind of customize their experience. So when it comes to yoga, when it comes to nutrition programs, someone who wants to learn more about you, I know on your website you have an opportunity for them to have a free 20-minute consultation. But what's some of the things that they can expect throughout the discovery process?
Well, the first thing is it's individualized, and it's really working with the person, not just physically. For example, a lot of people will come to me and they have weight issues and they want to lose weight. And of course, they want to know that I've got the magic bullet, which I don't have. There's no magic wand in my box. We have to put a program together. But the real important thing is to dig a little deeper as to what's going on with the person, because there's always something behind the door. And it's my job to get that door open, to provide a very safe environment where someone can feel free to open that door up. And we can dig deeper into what it is that they need to work on to holistically bring themselves together. Because if I just work on your body and I don't address your mind and I don't address your soul, I'm not doing the job. So that's really it's setting up that communication and the dialogue with someone so that person trusts and feel that they can open up with me. And it's at that point that I can do my job.
When someone is thinking about this whole holistic health topic, it's kind of a topic that kind of floats, throughout the internet. But for you, is there a right age for this to be a best starting point for someone to practice? Or is there, not really a right age? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I do say to people that the moment you're born, you start aging. So let's get on the program, and so it is a lifelong thing. It's hard with young children. There's all that junk out there. It's kind of hard to control what children eat sometimes. Hopefully the parents are providing them with good nutrition, but it begins there. And it's at any point in your life, there's never a point not to start taking care of your health. It's, it's the most important thing in your life. And yet it's the thing that we don't pay attention to until we lose it. That's when when everybody goes, oh my God, but it is the most important thing. If you want to be successful at anything in life, you need your health. You need your strength. You need a clear mind. You need those kinds of things. So it's important at any turn. And if you find yourself down that rabbit hole and and you're 50 years old and all of a sudden you wake up and say, I want to get healthy, it's not too late.
That's good, because sometimes we can be bad and wait till the check light to come on. And it sounds like what you're saying is just being very intentional and saying, not even saying, but taking those actual steps, do something that's going to change your lifestyle starting today. It doesn't have to be drastic, but at least you take that one positive step forward that slowly, it just, over time, it evolves into something much better versus you just wake up and oh, what happened?
Yeah. Well, it comes back to self-love too. I mean, if you don't love yourself and if you don't take care of yourself and if you don't take care of your health, you're really not very good for anyone else.
That's good.
So it's important that's the most, to take care of yourself. And it's not selfish. It is not selfish at all to say, you know what, I'm going to have my time, I'm going to eat a healthy diet. I'm going to put my time aside to exercise. I'm going to get sleep. I'm going to take care of myself first, because if I take care of myself and I'm healthy, I have so much to give to more people.
And you mentioned sleep earlier in the show, and I want to dive on that real quick before we let you go. How can sleep better practice be implemented in people's lives? I know people are busy, but why is it so important that we really focus on making that time to get a good night rest?
Well, again, we come back to, the body cannot rebuild itself or rejuvenate itself without rest. It has to be. It's like anything. I mean, if you take a car and you just keep running the engine and running, you're going to burn it out after a while. So we have to pull back and allow ourselves to rebuild and rejuvenate. When we go to sleep at night, what happens is the brain, the pineal gland, produces melatonin. And melatonin is an antioxidant. It goes through, and what I tell my clients is it goes through and it cleans up all the garbage that you've made all day. That's its job. So we have to really have that time to relax and let go. The most, when we go to bed, of course, we all know it should be a dark room and a cool room. And, but it's really letting go of the stress and the tension from the day and reminding yourself that it'll all be there in the morning. You can pick it all up in the morning and do whatever you want with it. But it's really important to let it go. And what you can do, there are things you can do, like you can use aromatherapy, you can use some lavender on your pillow to kind of as a sedative to kind of help you relax, a chamomile tea before you go to bed, but also just breathing, deep, long breaths and letting go of the stuff that you don't need to carry with you into sleep.
I'm glad you mentioned the breathing exercises, because that is also something that floats around the internet about people saying, hey, take these deep breaths and exhale, through your mouth or breathe in through your nose. You as a doctor, you have over 30 years experience in fitness and also health field. When you have someone who's interested in learning more how beneficial these breathing exercises can be, what's maybe a starter exercise that you give to your clients or students and encouraging them to practicing deep breathing?
Well, I always have them lay down, close their eyes, and of course you take a big breath and you're expanding the body and then letting it go. And as I do, I always remind them that everything in life rises and everything falls and everything comes and everything goes. And if you can find that perfect rhythm, you ride that perfect rhythm of life, you'll find that perfect balance. When you find that perfect balance, you just kind of let go and relax and sleep. So it's drawing in and just being okay with everything coming and going, because that's life. It's not going to change.
Man, I love that. That's the first time I heard it from that perspective. And I think that is so genius, man, because it makes total sense, because that is 100% true. You can't control everything, but you can control your choice.
Exactly. And as I, tell my students and my clients, the world is always going to be chaotic. That's the nature of life. It's the nature of energy, is chaos. There's always going to be wars. There's always going to be all of this stuff that's going on. It's been since the beginning of time. It's part of human nature. It's what you do amongst the chaos. Can you find that inner balance? Can you sort of separate yourself from the chaos and find inner peace? When you do that, you can live a very healthy life within all this chaos, because there's chaos out there. That's the way it is.
Man, I feel like you really did justice on this interview today. I appreciate everything you've said on the show. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure people who are more interested to learn more about holistic health, they can definitely consult with you on your website, drlynn.com, and learn more about what you do and the services that you can give. Because I didn't touch yoga, but real quick, with yoga world, there's a lot of people who are trying to get into that or who love it. What's some of the benefits that yoga can play in someone's life?
Well, yoga is a philosophy, and there is the exercise component of it, but that's very, very small. So what I teach, and I've been teaching over for 30 years, is karma. And karma yoga is simply, it means cause and effect. If you don't like the effect, if you don't like what happens, look to the cause, because it's all about energy. So if you're putting out energy, energy is going to come back to you. That's what it really amounts to. So yoga is really a way of living your life. And it's a way of living your life in a balanced and a strong and a flexible and a peaceful way. And we use the exercises because if I didn't bring you to class, we would sit down and we would intellectualize, let's say, about balance. We could talk about balance all day and we're intellectualizing about it. But it's very different when I put you in a tree pose and we really experience what it takes for a human being to find balance in their life.
Man, dropping dimes. That was a good one too, man. It's always these types of interviews that just go super fast. So we might have to have you on in the future. But people can also go to your awesome YouTube channel and watch some of your videos. They really want to, kind of like Netflix, just kind of watch a series of different types of videos. It's Dr. Lynn on YouTube, but they also go to your website, drlynn.com. What's one thing you want to share with our audience before we let you go? Call to action.
What I said earlier, your health is the most important thing in your life. And, without it, everything else is meaningless. All you need to do is get a bad cold and everything goes out the window. So your most important thing is your health. And that's what you should focus on, because a healthy human is a successful person. You can be successful at anything you put your mind to if you got your health and your energy behind you.
Once again, I want to say thanks again to our guest today, Dr. Lynn Anderson. And man, I want to say thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And I'd love to come back and chat with you again.